You know, as much as I hate to admit it, episode 5 of The Acolyte is a notable improvement on the series, much in the way that constipation would be an improvement on chronic diarrhea. Hi y'all, SnarkyJay cosplay here. As of the time of this video's recording, episode 5 of The Acolyte has been out since last night. I'm gonna get into the nitty-gritty details as usual, but to be completely honest, I can't say that this episode was as absolutely atrocious as episode 4, and episode 3 was in its own league of terrible. Episode 5 does sort of have a glimmer of what Star Wars should be, and yet it's attached to so much garbage, and even those good moments are surrounded by so much nonsense that it still is not worth watching. Anyways, let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into episode 5 of The Acolyte. We pick up right around where that devastating cliffhanger at the episode 4 left us. Darth Zippermouth is getting ready to fight off every single Jedi. We see Osha waking up. My red light just unalived itself, but we're gonna continue. Osha wakes up in the woods alone with her Tamagotchi, or droid, better known as Pip, beeping frantically. And when she takes off running to conveniently trip over nothing, we notice the corpse of a Jedi, and we can hear lightsaber sounds in the distance. Right now is probably the only redeeming moment we get in this show so far. The only Sith who's 100% confirmed to know about anime is fighting off the Jedi one by one, and we get some pretty cool combat here. To me, it is unrealistic that all of these incredibly well-trained Jedi could not fight off the one guy, but that's neither here nor there. I have to admit that this scene does look pretty cool. And then they f up completely because Jedi Master Nark, whose name I keep forgetting, I only realized his name was Yord near the end of the episode. Yord takes off with Osha because she's the civilian here and they have to get her out of this dangerous situation. It's another low-speed chase a la Kenobi when baby Leia was running away from Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, until Darth Zippermouth flings his lightsaber in a boomerang-type style that I feel should be saved only for Saturday morning cartoons. I want to point out something that my dad actually noticed while we were watching it, because somehow I roped him back into watching this with me. The lightsaber flies and hits a bunch of trees, which would be really cool because it slices them, except it slices them and they actually fall in the wrong direction. Go figure. Anyways, while Osha and Yord are running back to the ship, Jedi Master Sol and Darth Zippermouth are having a battle. May is also trying to escape, now possessing Kelnaka's lightsaber, except she gets attacked by Jeki. Jeki insists on arresting her, and May, who like an episode ago was very much committed to turning herself in, has changed her mind completely, and a very low-budget looking cat fight ensues. And by low budget, I mean literally every time when somebody breaks through a door, it looks like it breaks into foam boards, because that's probably what it is. Eventually, Darth Zippermouth gets sick of dealing with Sol and ends up going for Jeki instead. Now, on the other hand, Yord and Osha are on their way back because Osha has heard the call of her younger sister in her head, and now they need to have a sisterly reunion. She has to go back for her. And I want to point out that as she's running, she makes it a point to turn on her flashlight and start spooking all those moths that we saw in the last episode. The moths are going to become very important. Let me repeat that. The moths are going to become very important in a minute. While Osha and Yord are on their way back to the battle, Sol and the Sith are locked in, to the point that the Sith actually headbutts Sol's lightsaber to turn it off for a second. What the f is that all about? I've never seen anybody willingly headbutt a lightsaber with a why? Anyway, Jeki gets involved and Darth Sleeveless literally makes Swiss cheese out of her. He impales her 3 different times with a lightsaber and she drops. It's in this moment that the identity of this Sith is revealed. And everybody that guessed that it was going to be May's friend who really needs a good shampooing, yeah, it was that guy. I don't even remember his name, but it's him. Sol, of course, is shocked, drops his lightsaber, and asks, "Who are you?" And this dude's answer is, "I shit you not, I wrote it down. I have no name, but the Jedi like you might call me Sith." Are we for f***ing real? Who's writing this script? I'm convinced now, more than ever, that it is a 13-year-old. It's a 13-year-old who thinks they're really good at fanfiction. Maybe that's just where Leslie Headland's at. I don't know, but this is such garbage. His only explanation for why he's doing this is because he wants the freedom to wield his powers without having to answer to the Jedi, who have a billion different rules. Rules are made to be broken. This guy is a rebel without a cause, clearly. And now Darth Sleeveless wants to choke out May because she is apparently a tremendous disappointment to him, but I guarantee you it's no more of a disappointment to him than this show is to anybody with good taste. Now his goal is to kill off every Jedi here because they've all seen his face. Now Jedi Master Nark, otherwise known as Yord, shows up to save the day and his neck is literally cracked by Darth Sleeveless, which is genuinely cool. That I thought was pretty ruthless if it hadn't been that the guy's entire performance prior to that had been such a wash. Soul now decides that he's got to take this guy on. So they start fighting and Soul seems to be somehow the only guy who's a challenge for this guy at this point. But get this guys, I shit you not. Let me gather my thoughts. Osha is standing there and she decides to get the light bit at the end of like Pip's, the droid's head, and she attaches it to the guy's back, like in the cartoons when they would put a kick me sign on somebody's back. So Darth Sleeveless is fighting with a light on his back. Remember I talked to you about the moths? So the moths emerge from the forest and they gather in a group and they pick the Sith guy up, they pick him up, and they fly away. They fly away. Just like that dog in The Proposal, you know, the movie with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock when the dog gets carried off by birds. In a lightsaber battle, they have the bad guy picked up by moths and flown away. And I'm supposed to take this seriously? I'm the problem for not liking this. Go f yourself, Disney. In the midst of all this, at some point, the Sith guy told Osha not to listen to Soul because he was hiding something, and Osha asks him to explain himself, but Soul really doesn't want to give any answers. May appears and knocks his ass out. So we get a sisterly reunion between Osha and May. And to be honest, I almost felt touched. I almost felt like my heart was in it, and then I realized it was just indigestion. After Osha reminds May that she started the fire that killed her family, I thought it was Billy Joel. Yeah, I guess not. They wrestle around, but May eventually knocks Osha out and reminds her that she was never really good at blocking. I just want to point out what a pet peeve it is anytime these two characters interact, because Amandla Stenberg literally delivers the exact same performance for both characters. May seems to have some kind of resolve. She's got another plan. She ignites a lightsaber, chops her hair off, and then gives us a dramatic, like, right? Because she had to do that, because that was necessary. Why? Who's writing this? Anyway, I'm getting a migraine. Osha walks back to meet up with Soul at this point, who's like still on the floor, and it's super obvious right away that this is not Osha, it's May. Disney doesn't understand subtlety. And when the Sith Master comes across his former acolyte, apprentice, what have you, we see the tattoo on her arm, which we saw in the very first episode of this series. And so we know that Osha is actually the one that's been left behind on Kofar, and May is actually the one now traveling with Jedi Master Soul. And that's pretty much it. This is just not a good show. I did admit that there were some better moments in this episode, but it still doesn't make it a good episode. The writing is still dog shit, and I still find myself asking, like, what is the point here? Because we're now 5 episodes in, and it still feels like a poorly written piece of garbage that adds nothing to the conversation when it comes to Star Wars. And plenty of people say the same things about my videos, but I don't have a $180 million budget or a team of writers doing this shit. It's just me. This entire series is aimless, the performances are lackluster, the script is, again, awful. And the moments that should be more dramatic are always followed up by something that is so painfully unserious that the show makes it impossible to take itself with any real drama. There's no gravitas to this. There's nothing that feels like the stakes are high at all, because you know it's gonna be resolved in some stupid way. Like the moths? They literally had moths carry off the villain. It's not a good show. This episode was marginally better than the last ones, but either way, it's pointless. Disney really killed this franchise. I've never been so irritated to watch a series, but whatever. That's all from me. I've been SnarkyJay. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. For more SnarkyJay, tune in on Twitch every Tuesday and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST. You can also check out my Instagram, and if you'd like to support me, this channel, and my content creation, do check out and consider subscribing to my Patreon for exclusive photo shoot sets and content. I will add links to all of these in the description below, and let me know your thoughts on episode 5 of The Acolyte in the comments below.